Hey human, welcome to the Void once more. Come on in. In the first video of this series, we explore the possible reasons why most of us wish to escape the mundane through entertainment, fantasy, and art. One of the common reasons possibly being that we do not feel quite free in everyday life to live the way we truly want. To lead the type of life that connects with our inner selves. Imagine that when you see where you are currently at in your life, you're unable to see forward, or at least see clearly. The image is distorted and you're not quite sure what lies behind the static. Not because you haven't planned anything, not because you haven't imagined anything about yourself in the future, and not because you're unable to do this, but because there's a kind of disconnect between what feels like yourself, that is, the person you really feel like, and the life you lead. Like a ballerina in a play, doing the opposite of what your mates are doing without realizing it. But when you realize you're doing the wrong thing, your companions being mad at you and the audience looking dumbfounded wondering what it is you're trying to do, you choose to wing it, in hopes the audience at least will think it's part of the routine. You're afraid that if you suddenly change and synchronize with your companions, the audience might be able to confirm that you actually don't quite know what you're doing and no one wants to give the benefit of the doubt. Like a swimmer in a public demonstration and swimming in the opposite direction, not synchronizing with your mates because you forgot the routine or were distracted. As beings living in structured societies, there are rules and regulations we must follow, and sacrifices we must make in order to be able to live in harmony with other people. But the problem arises when we feel we have sacrificed too much of ourselves for the sake of harmony in a society or environment. How much we choose to sacrifice is a mix of our own doing, the society we live in, and of course, in which time in history we are currently living in, not to mention many other factors that are at play in our personal lives, such as family relations, whether now in our childhood or adolescence, but also our friendships and other shared experiences, both positive or negative ones. Very often, it seems that we are being led more than actually being the main character in our lives, or in video game jargon, that we are just NPCs or non-player characters. We don't seem to be the main character in our own story, just characters in the background playing along. The reasons for this are manifold, and once again, it's a mix of our own doing due to lack of knowledge, experience, or guidance, and of course, the way the world works. For many, just doing what they wish to do in their lives and being happy can be extremely difficult, whether it is due to financial restraints, lack of family support, or even just being born in the wrong country, where achieving that one goal seems like a never-ending uphill battle. This brings us to the second part of this series, out of sync. Many people feel more and more as if they are out of sync with what they want in their lives, and what they apparently have to do. A kind of disconnection between their needs and wants and the pressures of society, such as work, family, and others. We live in a time of ever-changing and never-updating information that is easily accessible whenever we wish, just one tap or click away. This makes us constantly reassess what it is that we truly want, reassess our hopes and dreams, to constantly move the goalpost, constantly modify our own sense of self, and many times, to think about the number of different possibilities and types of lives we can lead. Realistically though, we have a limited time in this world, both in the biological sense, but also the societal sense of the word. Our biological clocks are always ticking, but there is also a societal clock which we must adhere to. Whether this clock is logical or not doesn't really matter to the status quo. In this context, the biological clock, which isn't exactly the same for every person, doesn't have to exactly synchronize with the societal clock. In most modern societies, the process is very similar. We go to school as children, then higher education in our teenage years. It is then, when our brains are not fully developed and we have little to no life experience at all, that we are coerced to make choices regarding what it is we want to do for the rest of our lives, or at least something stable enough. Some of us will know very well what it is we wish to do early on. Some will find the time to think, reflect, or experience something later, but early enough still to know what it is that they will do. But many more people will just go with the flow, choosing whatever works as a career or vocation, because they felt they didn't have enough time to enjoy and live life, to explore, and then also at the same time find their calling. This type of person is usually categorized as a late bloomer. Time is a limited and extremely sought after resource, possibly almost as much as water itself. This makes many people have little time to decide, to dream, to really know what it is they truly wish to do for extended periods of time during the day, and not just feel like they must be on autopilot so that then after a long day they can finally live. But there isn't enough time or energy to live much for the rest of the day. Responsibilities pile up, and then all of a sudden, time to sleep and time to go to work. Rinse and repeat. This is more or less what being out of sync means, a snowball effect that grows larger and larger the older we get, often living lives that are not our own, but it's too late to turn back, or at least that is a common frame of mind most of the time. People often have this strange feeling that they can't easily shake off. They might not know exactly what it is, but they do know there is something wrong, as if their minds and even their heart is completely disconnected from what they are doing, always wanted to metaphorically go somewhere else in their mind, somewhere else that isn't as foreign or unnatural, somewhere else that isn't as boring, or somewhere where they feel they can provide value of their own will. People wish to provide internal value to themselves and then hopefully have the world answer back in harmony with their own values. Obviously, we still have to take in consideration not violating the right to do the same with others. This might sound naive, but should it really have to? Often what ends up happening is that we concentrate only in providing external value, what is expected of us, instead of what we expect of ourselves. This makes a very large part of the world population to lose themselves in this process, many times never able to truly know themselves before actually acting on what it is they wish to do. And sure, there are a lot of variables within our own control most of the time, and self-control and discipline are extremely important. But what about all the other illogical variables that people must follow to be able to just live? I am obviously not talking about the bare human necessities here, but illogical social structures. The famous, or infamous, German philosopher, economist, and general intellectual from the 19th century, Karl Marx, actually has a theory specifically connected to the job aspect of being out of sync, particularly in capitalist societies. This theory is known as social alienation. Marx's theory implies that workers in capitalist systems are usually disconnected from the product they create, disconnected from their human nature, due to the existence of stratified social classes. According to this theory, people in capitalist societies function in a mechanical way, working for corporations or big companies where they might not really know who the boss of their boss is, and might not even be creating a product or creating value that they feel connected to. This is seen as just a task that must be performed in order to be paid and be able to survive. This is why we must cross the thin line of balance between settling with the choices we have made until now, or the ones we had to make, versus the ones we truly want or wanted to make. Hopefully, this will make some of you think and acknowledge that if you do feel you are out of sync with yourself, maybe it's time to check if it's possible to revert, to live a life that at least is closer to what you really want. Still, there's more outside our control than some would think. In a world of haves and have-nots, of stringent requirements of survival, such as the necessity of money for anything, this question springs to mind once again. Are we truly free? For the few of you out there, thanks so much for watching my videos. Don't forget to share, like, and subscribe if you think this content is worth it. I'd like to hear your comments and discussion below so we can expand on this subject. And once again, join me in my pretentious quest to outthink everyone else and deconstruct the human condition.